r/ask Reddit. What's that one product that is completely worth your money? A good frying pan. Lasts for years and the quality of food I can cook with it is so much better. Also much easier to clean. My cast iron frying pan was my great grandmother's. She got it in 1917 when she got married. Oh man. That means you have a proper smooth surface cast iron pan. My cast iron seasoning has gotten amazing. But it's still a modern coarse pan under all that. I'd love one of the old smooth surface pans. A cab ride or ridder share when you're drunk. This should be higher, cheap way to stay alive and not kill anyone. Even if you remove any morality or sense of self-preservation, it makes good economic sense. DUIs can be incredibly expensive. As a homeowner, I can't say it enough. A wet dry vacuum. New homeowner here. Mind selling me on it? You can vacuum anything with it. Car interior, garage floor, liquid spill. Pretty much anything that's on the ground will go into it. Then you just take the top off and pour the contents into trash bag, box or whatever you want. It's a more rugged vacuum than indoor household type. After seeing how many people keep shit stored in 10-year-old random cardboard boxes in their garage or laundry room, I am gonna say storage tubs. They are hardly expensive, uniform in size, stack well, and aren't going to deteriorate if they get a bit wet. Also super handy if you move often. My mom got me a bunch when I started college, and I am constantly grateful she did. Counting moving in and out of storage, I have moved all my shit 12 times in the past 6 years. Multiply 12 by a ton of cardboard boxes, and I've saved a ton of money and effort. Wow, it's time consuming buying, constructing, collapsing, recycling cardboard boxes. Not only that, but my school had a flash flood and my friend's apartments downstairs got flooded. Only the students with their stuff in plastic storage containers were safe. All the cardboard boxes were done for. A good mattress and pillow. And to add to this, good bedding. It doesn't have to be super expensive, but do your research. I hate when people say do your research. Like what the duck do you think we're doing here? We're here for the answers from people who did the research, dummy. A crock pot and a rice cooker. They were both around $35 and I use them a few times a week. A crock pot is my best cooking buddy. It's literally all I use to make dinners. An additional benefit is that I usually have leftovers too. A quality chef knife. All of the knives my mom has are cheap, shitty knives she picked up from auctions. She was perplexed why I spent $100 on a Westhoff chef's knife that could slice through anything with minimal effort rather than having to saw through stuff. My family isn't allowed to touch my knife because I don't trust them to use or clean it properly at it, as explained by many people below. Putting good knives in the dishwasher is a bad idea for many reasons, including the hot humid air, lots of moving things, and abrasive dishwashing detergent. If you have a chef's knife, or basically any knife that you actually care about, wash it by hand, with soap and hot water. Don't let it sit in the water though. Just run it through the water a couple of times and scrub with a sponge or cloth. Edit 2. If you want to sharpen a knife, have it professionally sharpened or use a sharpening stone. Don't use electric sharpeners because those degrade the knife over time. Edit 3. Yes, I know all forms of sharpening knives degrade them over time, but you know what I mean. Rechargeable batteries for Xbox controllers. I couldn't even begin to estimate how much I've saved over the years. It is so convenient and they quickly pay for themselves. The only problem is that if you cycle them through too many times they can start to go and your controller can die with no warning because the controller gets confused on what the actual low battery value is supposed to be. Another good one of these for tech is buying your own modem router. Your stuff will typically be better than Comcast's and it pays for itself in like a year. This Xfinity's gateway modem wireless router combo is absolute trash. It also shares your bandwidth with a public network accessible to other Xfinity customers. If you've got connection anywhere over 20 MB down and expect more than 2 people at any given time to be connected, and have a large area to cover, do yourself a huge favor and get a proper wireless router. The Netgear Nighthawk is $50 on Amazon right now. Quite the deal, honestly. The best thing you could really do is buy your own modem and router. Just get the Xfinity service and set up yourself. So much money saved from equipment rental fees and the like. Edit. It would seem that Amazon decided to have one of their flash sales during the time that I decided to talk about it. Unfortunately, the timer for the $55 Netgear R6700 Nighthawk has expired. They are currently priced on Amazon in my geographic region, West Coast, USA, at $89.99. Still a very good price as they used to cost $150 at one point. Should also be noted that any Best Buy will price match and will likely have more than one in inventory. Getting your own modem, on the other hand, really depends on what your provider supports and what speeds you're getting from them, as different modems support up to a certain speed and a certain amount of simultaneous connections. Well made, brah. Can't tell if you're surfer bro congratulating OP for this post or talking about the female undergarment. No comma, but would a surfer bro worry about punctuation? This is way above my pay grade. Gonna leave this one to the feds. 3 good pairs of scissors. One for clothes, one for paper and one for the kitchen. This saves so much time and aggravation. And label the fabric one so people don't use them to cut anything else. The a-holes. Yes, or hide them like my mom did when we were kids. My mom sewed clothes for us when we were growing up, and she always hid her sewing scissors so we did not use them to make our paper book covers or cut out magazine articles about Davy Jones. A good and comfortable chair to your desk, especially when you plan to sit there a lot for studying or if your John requires you to sit. It will spare you a lot of back pain. Edit. John sadly no longer wants me to sit. I exchange him for job. Your John, eh? I find my Johns rarely require me to sit. Good pair of shoes. I would say quality clothing in general is worth it. I used to buy the cheapest clothing I could get, e.g. t-shirts, pants, shoes, underwear, and they predictably wore out quickly, and then I'd be left with shitty, worn down clothing. Now that I'm older, I discovered that paying extra is definitely worth it for your clothing. I've had underwear, shorts, pants that last for years and remain in excellent shape, rather than a few pathetic months. Edit. Let me just say that you don't have to spend your life's savings on clothing, as some have pointed out that they have bought cheap clothing that has lasted for years. This is entirely possible. There are so many brands and clothing out there that it's entirely possible that that cheap discount store or wherever else is great clothing for cheap. It's just that in my own personal experience, paying a bit more is usually worth it. If you have someplace where you can buy cheap and durable clothing that you love, then by all means keep going with it. The Samuel Vimes Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness. The reason that the rich were so rich, Vimes reasoned, was because they managed to spend less money. Take boots, for example. He earned $38 a month plus allowances. A really good pair of leather boots cost $50, but an affordable pair of boots, which were sort of okay for a season or two and then leaked like hell when the cardboard gave out, cost about $10. Those were the kind of boots Vimes always bought and wore until the soles were so thin that he could tell where he was in Ankh-Morpork on a foggy night by the feel of the cobbles. But the thing was that good boots lasted for years and years. A man who could afford $50 had a pair of boots that'd still be keeping his feet dry in 10 years time, while the poor man who could only afford cheap boots would have spent $100 on boots in the same time and would still have wet feet. This was the Captain Samuel Vimes Boots theory of socioeconomic unfairness. The right mattress can completely change your life. Everything in life can be affected by your sleep quality. I'd say start there. Suggestions. I'm in the market and drowning in advertisements that everyone's is the best. Oh man. Thanks for the suggestions. They are as all over the board as the advertisements, but I appreciate the leads. Sleeplikeatherwood.com seems to be the only review site that hasn't been bribed by mattress companies. They do not use affiliate links or accept free products. Birth control. Myself is all the birth control I need. Silver edit. Happy Singles Awareness Day everyone. r/Susa Debbie Woods. Socks. Despite the expense and the inconvenience of obtaining them, there is nothing that compares to the feeling of wearing warm, dry socks. I worked 50% outside and 50% inside for years in the northeast of the US. Wintertime was always a challenge to keep my feet warm and dry. To thick off a sock and my feet would sweat while inside, then freeze when I would go back outside. When I met my wife, she bought me a pair of $25 smart wool socks and I scoffed at her like she was crazy for spending that much on a single pair of socks. It only took one day of wearing them at work to make me understand that they were worth every penny. When my now wife and I first started dating, she thought I was nuts because I was stoked I found darn tough socks on sale for like $12 a pair. I work construction and my feet are always hot and sweaty. 6 years later I'm still wearing those socks in my rotation edit. This was like 5 years ago and it might not have been exactly $12. If I remember correctly, it was a Woot sale. So far all the comments I'm seeing are regarding pooping, eating and sleeping. It really does just come back to basics, doesn't it? This was drilled into me by the camp director when I worked at a summer camp as a kid. Before anyone can notice how well you teach canoeing, they have to have a good place to eat, a good place to sleep, and a good place to go to the bathroom. Running out of toilet paper was an easy way to squander a lot of goodwill built up elsewhere. One sharp, well-tailored suit for work and formal occasions. After that you can just change up your shirt, trousers and tie and you'll still look impressive. I would just say 2 suits, so that you can at least go back and forth, along with changing up the accessories. It's a better impressions, and would let you rotate them for cleaning. Source: had to wear a suit and tie for work, back in the day. Now it's casual everything. Trousers are a part of the suit though. An electric tire inflator. For $29.95 it's so convenient to add air to the tires where you live rather than going to gas station air pumps, especially in winter weather. Better yet, spend $60 on a jump starter that has a compressor built in. That way, you're set in case of needing a jump start. 2. Bread from a bakery instead of regular stuff on the grocery store shelf, particularly if you can get it still warm from the oven, or at least very fresh. Or bake your own bread. It can be tricky, but nothing beats the feeling of eating bread that you made yourself. Tastes like satisfaction. A good under-sink home toolkit if you don't have one already. I can say as a newly married 20-something it was the most useful gift my father-in-law got me. I scrolled way too far to see this. Good tools are worth every penny. My bidet. Best $35 I've ever spent. I still remember the first time I used a quality bidet in Korea. It was at a high-end hotel in Seoul for my brother's wedding. The first time I used it, the pressure of the water jet was too intrusive. I wasn't so used to something penetrating into my ass. The pressure was so firm that it was too much for my virgin ass. Then the next time I used it, I lowered the pressure and just let it warm up. Oh lord, it was like the god of toilet licking my butt. So warm and gentle. Afterward, I used the air dryer. That was arguably the best steam of air blown into my ass. On the 3rd time, I was able to let my ass open and fully accept the routine. It was godsend. I wish I can afford one. Edit. Thanks for the gold and silver. I'm proud of the experience I had while I was staying at the hotel. My then GF made fun of my discoveries, but she's also a believer. Many of you had suggested cheap bidets. I'm considering to try them. However, I want to make sure that I get the right temperature immediately. You don't want to sneak attack your anus with cold ass water. Once your anus clenches, you can't get deep cleansing. First few times will be tough, especially for straight men. It doesn't feel good to have your anus probed by finger of toilet god. Once you let yourself accept the reality, your anus won't go back to rough toilet paper. This may be my favorite post that I have come across in all of Reddit. Prescription sunglasses. Yep, total game changer, especially driving. A shoehorn. The tall ones are $1 and let you put your shoes on without hurting your back or ruining the back of your shoes. Dad, is that you? The best ones come from IKEA. A toothbrush. It is literally life-saving and can prevent you a whole world of pain in both your body and wallet. Bonus points if you brush twice a day and floss. Whoa. You made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.